Hi, Nathan with American Supercars. I've been buying and selling the Viper for the last 15 years, and I've noticed ever since production has stopped for the Viper, a lot more posts have been going up in regards to the Viper's value. In this video, you're going to learn the 8 steps I use to determine the value of a Viper. The first step in determining value of the Viper is determining what generation you're looking at. The Gen 1 was made from 92 through 95, and then in 96 they came out with the Gen 2 Viper, which was 96 through 2002. The Gen 3 was 2003 through 2006. There was no 2007 Viper. They made a Gen 4 from 2008 through 2010. And then they took a 3-year break until they came out with a Gen 5, which was 2013 through 2017. Now, in terms of value, the Gen 1 is going to be the lowest value because it's the oldest. And then the newest, the Gen 5, is going to be the highest in terms of value, just based off year alone. The second step in determining value for a Viper are the miles. Just like any supercar, miles are extremely important in determining a value. Take a 96 Dodge Viper GTS, for example. A 1,000-mile car might go for 70, 80, whereas a 20,000-mile car in the same condition is going to be about 50. Step 3 in determining your Viper's value is physical condition. And one of the first things I look at when I'm looking at a Viper are the tires. I want to make sure that they're within a certain date. Every tire has a date code. Make sure that you get that date code and make sure they're current. Less than anything older than 5 years old is taking a risk. So make sure you look at the date code. When you go around the car, make sure the front chin spoiler is not too messed up for your liking. But when I buy cars, I want it to be almost perfect. So if it doesn't have a perfect one, I'm paying it. So that's a cost. So just be aware of that. Underneath the side stills, you want to make sure that there's no scrapes or scuffs. If so, cost of that. So just keep that all in mind when you're determining value. Step 4 in determining your Viper's value is color. The rarer the color, the more money it's going to bring. Colors like blue and white, red, black are all pretty basic colors and always do well with a Viper. And I will say stripes, in our experience, always bring more money than non-striped cars. So be aware of that when you're determining value. Step number 5 in Viper value is production numbers. With just over 30,000 built in total Viper production, production numbers is a huge role in determining a Viper's value. But it's not the only role. Going back to the 96 Viper, it's not the most rare Viper GTS you could buy, but it is one of the most iconic looking. So it always holds its value, even though it's not the scarcest Viper model made. Step number 6 in Viper value is mechanical. So Vipers don't really have a lot of issues, but you do want to be aware that if a Viper has been sitting a long time, and this goes into lower mile stuff, you want to make sure that the car's been driven, the car's been maintained, the oils aren't just sitting there in the engine and just getting old. You want to make sure the car has actually been kept up a little bit, because any car sitting around is not good. So make sure that when you're going through determining a price for the Viper, that you do have solid service records, or everything looks good when you're doing a visual once over, because once these seals go bad, these cars can leak. Going back to the tires, you want to make sure the tires are, within a certain amount of years old. Just make sure the Viper has been kept up. The 7th step in determining Viper's value is owner history. I always pay a premium for one owner cars because, generally when it's one owner, they've been kept well, we know the whole history. It doesn't kill a Viper's value to have multiple owners, but it does deduct it a little bit. So keep in mind, if you're looking at a car with 6, 7 owners, you're going to take a steep reduction in price. The last step I look at is modifications. In the Viper market, a lot of people do modify these cars, and since I'm in California and have very strict smog laws, I have to be very careful on what I buy. Buying closer to stock is always better for me, but I will buy cars that have been modified. I just have to make sure they are done right. So a little bit more due diligence is necessary when buying a car with modifications. I pay more if the cars were done right and everything looks like it's on the up and up and quality parts are used. Modifications are not an issue. So those are the 8 steps I use in trying to determine a Viper's value. Whether you're looking to buy or sell a Viper, I hope this video provided some value to you. If you are looking to sell, my dad and I have been selling Vipers for the last 25 years. We've sold over 1,500 Vipers. We'd love to put together a plan for you in order to net you the best possible price for your Viper.